Chapter 26. Windrush Baby. The welcoming breeze Goddie was used to was now replaced with the stench of 1,000 asses. The Caribbean air that wrapped her tight in Jamaica gave way to an itchy blanket in a cabin with no windows. The compaction of West Indians within the berthing compartments of the ship bordered on criminal. The well-dressed Jamaicans boarding in Kingston would soon be joined by well-dressed Spaniards, Portuguese, and French.
"Southampton, United Kingdom, all to disembark,"
shouted the deck captain as he walked the cabin hall ringing a bell. One short horn blast confirmed it all. After 21 days at sea, Goddie finally arrived in England. She rose from her bunk, brushed off the front of her dress, and quickly put her things together. Working at Mr. Hamill's store for many years ingrained in her the importance of having her things organized and neat. It paid off as she quickly assessed her belongings and double-checked her travel instructions.
Birth certificate, travel letter, and money,
she whispered as she audited her papers. She couldn't afford to make a mistake. There would be no one to rescue her. Double-checking would prove life-saving. She packed her belongings back into the small suitcase and arranged Daddy's Bible in her sack.
"We're here, Daddy. We're here."
Her thoughts were broken as the sounds of excitement filled the air. She listened as grown men talked of promises of employment and better lives than the ones they left. For these men, this trip was the response to the request for more labor in the United Kingdom's transportation section. The government had opened up avenues for employment in public transportation and interregional transport. 3 things mattered to Goddie: catching the train to London, getting some food, and getting a coat. The weather in London was an unpleasant welcoming committee. She stared at the overcast skies from the hull opening. The howling winds coming off the English Channel were bone-crushing. The winds cut left to right. Goddie wrapped every piece of material she had around her body as she walked the gangplank off the ship. The frigid waters mocked her as she tightened her fists and shivered her way to a new start. Grown men huddled around cans of fire as they figured out their next move.
"Papers, please."
A small wisp of a man looked through his horn-rimmed glasses at Goddie, shivering. She ran her hand across Daddy's Bible as she reached for her documents.
VETA. How do you pronounce that, Mom?
Asked the officer. Goddie responded through chattering teeth.
Vita.
She was growing more comfortable saying her legal name out loud. It was a secret code. A name that could gain access to places Goddie couldn't go.
Final destination?
"Sir, the address is on the sponsor letter in front of you,"
replied Goddie.
70 Maryland Road in London. That's over 3 hours from here. You had best get a coat if you want to survive in the United Kingdom, Mom. Welcome to England.
The sound of the stamp hitting that letter was the best thing Goddie ever heard. It was the sound of new beginnings. The sound of the stamp was a starting pistol to the rest of her life. It was the sound of starting over. Through chattering teeth, she pressed a smile across her cold face and tucked her letter back beside Daddy's Bible. The officer lifted his head and pointed with a pen.
There's a thrift shop on your way to the South Western Railway. It's a mile down the road. Get a coat before you get sick.
"Yes, sir,"
Goddie replied as she began walking in the direction of the train station.